The kids at Garden View Elementary, Pierre de Coubertin and Sinclair Laird and the Hellenic Centers are all getting together, and it's a very ambitious project. And last night they got together with the author from BC, the composer from Athens, Greece, and the illustrator from Quebec. They all met for the first time, and this is what it looked like. Time for Flowers, Time for Snow is based on the Greek myth of goddess Demeter and her daughter Persephone. This project will be a book, CD, concerts, and an experience.
Wait, sorry, who's the best singer?
Me!
After nearly 1,000 auditions, 184 kids and teenagers from nearly a dozen elementary and high schools were selected to undergo a musical experience they will never forget.
From where you're standing, children have to look at me, okay? So, very, very easy exercise. We've done it many times. On the vowel A. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and. Very nice. Make sure you open your mouths. You've eaten well, right? No faintings today, I hope. I never expected 184 children to coordinate so well. I think it has to do with the level of preparation these children they have done in our vocal workshops before, because we didn't teach them all together. And of course the importance that these children, the pride they took on the project, so they were really well prepared when they came into that recording hall or when they sang with the orchestra. Also, recording 184 children is a challenge. That's why we broke them up into 3 groups with headphones in order to minimize noise. You know, like the children, they move around when they're recording. So that was also a big challenge technically. Only one of your 2 headphones will be working. Okay? The other one will be dead. So you can take that out and the one's going to be in. All right? So I'd like the parent monitors for the grade 6s to line them up in one row here, so I can start putting them on stage. Let's go.
As parents eagerly watch from behind the scene, the young opera singers could not have imagined just how challenging it would be to remain completely synchronized while being precisely on tune.
Like on the recording, if one person would make a little creak, we have to redo the whole thing, and then when we wouldn't say the words properly, we would go, he would go, and then we watch Persephone, like that, so.
Without her daughter, she's desolate. Without her daughter, she's desolate. She wanders, she wanders, she wanders the world. She wanders the world and can't forget. Without her daughter, she's desolate. Without her daughter, she's desolate.
The second desolate at the end, it sees one off. Follow me, please. Sit down a bit.
He pushes us, he pushes us, and he pushes us, but then he just wants the best for us, and then so we're perfect.
Yeah.
And if it's like in a hard way for you, you're gonna be like, I never saw him like that. But then, as you know it, it's kind of like as to push you to do your best.
Yeah.
So it's in a hard feeling.
So with this love
I can solo you,
seasons came to be.
and I can hear
In spring,
all the
the
mistakes.
seedling sprouts, blossoms grace, the lemon.
Well, the most unique part of this project is the fact that we've had 3 groups of choirs come through, and we recorded them all with pretty much the same setup, but their qualities are very, very different. And so we're mixing them together and trying to make them sound homogeneous, as if they're all together at the same time. And that mix is it's a pretty monstrous mix. There's 6 channels for each one of them, so that's 18 individual tracks, and then 3 or 4 versions or takes for each one of them. So it's a bit of a monster.
Oh, yeah, see,
When
No, in the
Ouch.
ocean.
Oh, damn it.
Darn it.
I know,
I've smoke between pavement and starlight.
This should be always part of an education of children. I mean, children is not children. It's like a tape recorder. That more you give them, more they could absorb. And cultural and songs and anything has to do with dancing and performing gives the opportunity for the children to be part of something important and also to talk about it.
Of course, these things are tiring. They take up time. The kids are up later. But our families are committed to this project, and they'll do everything possible to make it a success.
When I first heard it going high and then going very low, I thought it was going to be challenging for my voice. But I realized it's actually you just gotta get used to it.
First of all, I want you to be careful because no matter how tired you are, if you start getting tired, some people start dropping an octave down. And instead of singing, without our daughter, they sing, without our daughter. That is unacceptable. Okay, we can't have that in the recording.
As the recordings went on, I began to wonder what is truly motivating these young opera singers to tirelessly work to achieve the vocal perfection that this project demands.
I'm a little bit out there, so I don't know, it depends on the person. If you love what you're doing, then you're gonna get up every morning, you're gonna practice, and practice. You're gonna sit there for hours and just listen to yourself. When I can't hit a note and I keep mixing up these, like a couple of words or something, it really pushes me down, but I always find a way to give myself an extra boost and keep going.
While some of the older singers were more intrinsically driven, the younger ones seemed to be initially intrigued by the fact that they would be escorted to the final production at City Hall by limousines, and, indeed, walk down a red carpet to the entrance.
So on the invitation to say you could practice choir, there was a picture of a limo, so everybody's like, we're gonna go in a limo if you do that. And everybody wanted to do it.
On the paper when we got it, it's like, okay, you're gonna be in a red carpet in a limo. It's like, okay, sure, I'm gonna join it right away because you want to be in a red carpet and in a limo because yeah.
I want to be an actress and a dancer, maybe a singer when I'm older, and it's just fun to feel just that they are able to privilege us with the red carpet or the limo ride around. It's just fun.
No wheat in the fields, no barley to reap. 4 sheep on the hillside, the grass is gone. Hungry children.
While nearly half of the children performing are Greek, and even though the opera is based on a Greek myth, it became clear that this project completely transcended cultural boundaries, as it showed the young performers the unifying power of teamwork regardless of their age or cultural background.
Okay, good. Continuing without her daughter.
We're going on without her daughter.
When you see the diversity of this group of children, and you see how they come together, yes, they'll exercise their vocal cords, but at the same time, they all have the same needs. They all speak together, they all eat together, they work together, they play together. They're not any different from one another. And so they will grow with this instilled in their minds.
I was really impressed by the number of children that were participating. So I could see in their faces the enthusiasm for taking part to this great production. So I believe that the unifying power of the Greek mythology was great.
I mean, when she was young, she loved to sing. She was singing, pretending she was holding something that pretending is a microphone and singing, and I know she has a good voice.
But my youngest is entering kindergarten, my oldest is entering the 3rd grade, and I see this as the arts being very important to the development of children.
That at the end you put yourself in and sing and and instead of going whatever and you sing just like that, you have to put yourself in.
We approached Glen Huser, who is the writer, and we said, would you be interested in doing a book, writing a libretto, in essence an operatic libretto.
I've been writing children's books over the years, mainly young adult novels, and I don't know how Demeter figured out that I've always been somebody who wanted to write musical theater. So when he emailed me and said, would I like to do this children's operetta, I thought, oh, there are forces in the universe that work here.
So in this case, it was really, really special because it's an opera. It's the first time for me I do that.
Well, it's a challenge to write music for children because children are honest. If they don't like it, they say it to you without shame. But also, their smile when they like it is the biggest gift. The mixing has been between 4 studios in Montreal, Athens and London. There are musicians and singers who never meet each other. For many months we were exchanging and editing stuff and recordings between the 2 coasts of the Atlantic.
At first I was a little like, how are we supposed to do this? Like, we're almost 200 kids. But then after, like, everybody worked on it on their own, so everybody knew their part. So then when we just did it together, everybody kind of like fit in, kind of like a puzzle.
Realizing they have talents they never even thought they had. And I was there on the first rehearsal, and when the kids were singing together and they looked around with their mics, and I think they felt overwhelmed and they felt like, wow, we're part of something really big.
I just love the feeling of being on stage and feeling that moment. It's something like you'll never feel before.
We are a really, really big group this year, and it just really like shocked me because it's amazing how over 100 kids could sing in one amazing voice. It's just amazing. There are no words to describe it.